then started going away from us at some pretty fast speeds, which is what took us so long to catch up. Started in Orange County, went eastbound on the 91. Originally, while they are now calling this a suspected DUI driver, originally they was wanted for swerving. So some officer or some person saw this driver swerving. CHP attempted to make a stop, and the guy didn't stop. So here we are. Speeds have been fluctuating. I can tell you what's on the screen right there is not correct. It is not 220 miles an hour. I don't know why our speedometer is having that issue at the moment, but he has been going at speeds of around 100. And Brian, if you can go ahead and just drop that for us, since that's not working right now, we'll try to get that recalibrated. But what we can tell you is we are northbound on the 15 after coming eastbound on the 91 for an extended period of time. This is a silver Toyota truck that has been being chased by CHP. At one point, they were trying to get ahead of him to set up spike strips, but that never materialized.
So, okay, he's been on the freeway, apparently, Mike, all this time. So that's why CHP is definitely involved.
Yes, and we believe that they started it. There was some chatter initially, and we're working to clarify that some off-duty law enforcement officer in Orange County may have been the original one to witness it and then called in CHP, and then that's how CHP started it. But as long as we've been following it, it has been CHP. Briefly made a stint through LA County as he came up the 405. He went 5 to the 405 and then came up near the 605. area, yeah, and like near Los Alamitos, and then came into Cerritos and all that area when he took the eastbound 91. But it's been CHP the entire time. They've swapped offices. Now we are in the Riverside office, and pretty soon we'll switch over to the San Bernardino office.
Well, that's the one thing about CHP. They certainly have jurisdictions, right?
Yeah.
They could just pass it off to the next one. So if someone's driving, especially on the freeway, thinking, well, you know, they're going to stop following me, they can always be picked up by another office or another branch.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the beauty of having the statewide agency. It's also interesting as I'm watching this that the truck is what they're chasing. That car on the right very clearly has to see the blue and reds behind them and are choosing not to yield or get out of the way, at least for them. There they are finally a little bit, but yeah, I mean CHP wants people to get out of the way when they're chasing this. Now, for a period of time when he was going slowly, they did have to set up a traffic brake behind them to slow the traffic down so people weren't passing them. But then the speeds increased about to over 100, and they didn't need to do that anymore. Right now, we're about freeway speeds. I'm looking at our helicopter. Our helicopter's going about 60 knots across the ground. So we're about freeway speeds, maybe a little bit higher than that, but not by much. And the driving, even though he was originally wanted for swerving, we've just been kind of going in a straight line, the 91 forever, and now finally northbound on the 15.
And the speed, has that been basically consistent?
Basically for a while. It was interesting because when we first were listening to this and the sheriff's helicopter, LA sheriff, was overhead, he was going really slow, like 20 miles an hour on the 405. And then all of a sudden really shot it up on the 605 and the 91, and now we're kind of back down here. And we've been consistent with the speeds that we're looking at now for a pretty significant amount of time. I would say at least through Yorba Linda, up through Corona, and now we'll be right now we're in Norco, we'll be passing Eastvale soon as well.
Can you tell? I mean, it's pretty dark, but has this driver been swerving back and forth, giving an implication that he could possibly be intoxicated? I mean, driving that amount of speed.
Yeah, every now and again I'll see some lane changes, but it's really, I mean, we've certainly seen wilder things, when it comes to these drivers. So, no, I mean, we'll see how he maneuvers around this car. Right now, he's just hitting the brakes, waiting for them to get over.
This is wild how no cars are pulling over for the lights and sirens the way they're supposed to. It's a good reminder, I guess, to everyone watching to pull over if you see lights and sirens.
Yeah, because, I mean, the truck, thankfully, hit his brakes and didn't hit the car. But, yeah, I mean, people seem to be taking their sweet time to get out of the way.
Possibly having their music up a little loud or whatever, and not saying, well, I didn't hear the sirens behind me.
Right.
What do you think's going on up front of this vehicle? Doesn't seem to be a lot of traffic on the freeway tonight.
No, and let me look. I can pull up a map here really quickly and check it out. But yeah, we've not seen a ton of traffic. I mean, thankfully it is 9:30 now, and
well, look at that.
Yeah, I mean it's thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's open. What's interesting too is there is a helicopter overhead. There's a CHP helicopter overhead. They don't have their night sun on, which I don't know if it's just malfunctioning or what, but I've noticed that the whole time we've been over it, they have not had their night sun on. So I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just not functioning right now, but they're clearly in, full-blown pursuit mode, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Because that freeway is open, and of course they're still driving fast, I'm just thinking, is there a possibility to get ahead of this vehicle and maybe throw a spike strip?
Yeah, and you know what? We're switching into a different office now, so they're going to ask for permission for that again. But when they were in Orange County, they had asked for a spike. One of the officers wanted to drive to the right of the pursuit and actually go past the chase to stop and set up spikes, and they were declined. They said, no, don't do that. I don't know, now that we're in the IE, we're going to be switching offices again into San Bernardino office, if they'll want to do that or try that again. But certainly with a freeway this open, you have the options to do that. There's not a lot of cars, especially if they got a traffic break on the back end of it.
And we don't know anything about this driver, right? I mean, it's not a stolen vehicle, so presumably the officers in pursuit and speaking to dispatch know who this person is by the plate.
Yeah, in theory. And I've been trying to listen for that too, to see if they've called out like, the address comes back to here. This is where we'll send units to their home. And we've not heard that just yet. I've not heard them really describe the suspect at all yet either. So it's hard to tell what they know. But certainly, as to your point, yes, the license plate has not come back stolen. We've not heard anything like that. They've got the plate. I've heard them, call it out a couple of times. So they know who at least the registered owner is. Now, whether or not that's the driver, we obviously don't know. But they at least know who the registered owner is.
So, Mike, give us some possibilities here. Is on the northbound I-15. They could take that. Is there an exit possibly to another freeway, or is this like a long stretch that he can just stay on?
We're on a long stretch right now, but soon we'll approach the 60 and then the 10 and then the 210. And if he doesn't like any of those, then off to Vegas it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just one person in the vehicle that we know of?
As far as we know, we've not heard them describe anybody else in the car, just the driver here. And again, we're going to see if we can work on getting some additional information about how this all started. Again, it was down in Orange County, so hopefully we'll be able to learn some of that really quickly here.
Okay, just interesting too how many units are behind. We've been obviously focusing our picture on this one unit behind this truck.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see 1, 2, 3.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
They're bringing up the rear.
Okay.
And then what we'll probably, okay, so look, it's actually happening right now. So to the right of that first unit is a unit that doesn't have its lights on. That is probably a unit from the office. What they're doing right now is probably switching and swapping out these units because we're leaving the Riverside office and we're going to come into San Bernardino. So just to the right of the first patrol car, that's another patrol car back there that will probably flip its lights on and switch out, or he may have already done the switch out. But yeah, they're going to start doing that as we switch into different offices here, which is good. I mean, that's the other benefit of the CHP is these officers don't get fatigued. They don't stay on this chase for hours. They swap out with their partners and hand it off to different offices. First time exiting. Here we go. In Harupa Valley, we are getting off, or are we transitioning? This actually may be a transition to the 60. I actually think it's a transition to the 60. We'll see which way he goes here. But off of the 15, this will be the 4th freeway that he has been on. And yeah, that's going to be a transition to the 60, and it should be, I believe, eastbound 60 is where we're going to go. So we're going to go even further away here, kind of from where we've started, which, always makes you wonder what's the end game here. I mean, they started in Orange County, on the western edge of Orange County, and now are coming into like Harupa Valley. So we'll see what the plan here is for this person, but. Switching freeways, you see all the CHP units that are still behind them.
It looks like this freeway not as wide open. I mean, still not a lot of traffic, but definitely a lot more people, who could be hurt if they get wrapped up in all this.
Right, and you saw that white car, as soon as he came onto the on-ramp, immediately started running that traffic brake to keep people back. So, yeah, they noticed that quickly. And then you've got other traffic. I mean, the one right in the rear there now is doing the traffic brake. So they're trying to keep things controlled to the best of their ability. And that will also allow them, should they want to, get a spike strip going, that will give them the empty freeway will benefit that.
Yeah, I think they were setting that up purposely for something. Look at this vehicle go on the patrol unit on the left there, really speeding up.
Yeah, so that's probably the switch out. I'm wondering if that's the units from, well, we just barely crossed into San Bernardino County, and we're going to quickly cross back into Riverside because we're on the eastbound 60 here. As we approach like Miralomas to our south, Glen Avon will be coming up as well. So we'll go back into the Riverside office if he keeps on the 60. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's going to do a big loop and go the 60 and then come back down the 91 and go back into Orange County. We never really have a good idea of what these guys are thinking when this is all happening.
No, they may just be depending on riding this out until they run out of fuel or ending up going to somewhere, well, maybe where they live.
Yeah.
And doing a foot bail or just giving themselves up.
And it makes you wonder, too, and the state of the mind of the officers also, like, why is this person running if it was just, swerving initially, and now they're in this whole heap of trouble with multiple charges that can be brought against them?
Yeah, if he's not under the influence and this just isn't being swerving, that's a ticket maybe. Now you're talking felony evading, which, immediately it kind of increases everything. I want to point out really quickly too, guys, because we're in the right county for it. Somebody has texted us, and we get this all the time when we get text to the desks, but text to the desk during chases as we exit the freeway again here. Why don't they use the grappler? CHP doesn't have the grappler. That's the thing where it shoots out of the front of the car and grabs the tires and spins it up. Now, CHP doesn't have it, but the Riverside County Sheriff does.
What is this?
We're exiting here. Let me see where we're at. We're exiting here on Mission Boulevard, it looks like. And that's the first time we've seen this car on surface streets. So now that we're on surface streets, CHP may take the ability or the chance here and try to do a pit maneuver to finally bring this to an end. But the first time since we've been on the chase that this guy's gotten off on surface streets.
Okay, did you finish your response to the text? I just mentioned that because traffic seemed to stop for a minute, and that's why he was making that transition to surface street. So I didn't want you to not finish your answer to the the viewer who texted you.
Right, so back on the freeway. So that was just an on and off again. Right here would be a good, they're not gonna do it. I was gonna say that'd be a good spot to pit them. But off and back on the freeway. The answer is that CHP does not have the grappler, but Riverside County Sheriff's Department does. Now, we've talked about this before. CHP doesn't like to share with anyone. So I don't think it's very likely that the Riverside County Sheriff's Office is gonna come in with a grappler and end this thing, just because they don't like to share tactical control of a situation. If this were RSO deputies that were chasing it, we definitely might see that. Those grapplers have been getting a lot of attention, though, especially during these chases.
You see, Mike, when he pulled off with the freeway just shortly there looked like there was a person on the off-ramp standing there, a pedestrian, in the dark.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if they were just happenstance or if they were talking to him at all. We're back westbound on the 60. And I'll play that video back really quickly, but we're back westbound on the 60. So maybe now we're going back over our trail and doing everything all over again, but it's always so hard to tell with these guys.
If you could point out, earlier you said, before we got to this pursuit, that this person was driving at speeds of 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Well, he seems to be going the normal, doesn't seem to be really going over the speed limit, over 70 or something like that on the freeway right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's going freeway speeds at this point, but we've been on, and who knows how much gas he had to begin with, but we've been driving for a while, and when he hit those 100-mile-an-hour speeds, who knows what that did to the gas tank. So CHP may just be content to wait this guy out and see, how he runs out of fuel, if he runs out of gas, or just what he's going to do. But, to your point, we're freeway speeds, we're not necessarily swerving and ramming in wrong side of the road and all of that. So they may not want to take the risk by escalating it here to just try to see what happens if they can just kind of wait him out. But we're back westbound on the 60, going to be approaching the 15 again, and we'll see if he wants to go back south on the 15, stay on the 60, and come more towards western San Bernardino County, which I think he's missing that off-ramp right now. So I think we're going to be committed to the westbound 60. Yeah, that was his option. So we'll be committed to the westbound 60, and we'll be some new territory as we kind of march towards, Chino, Ontario, that area of the Inland Empire.
It looked like there was something in the bed of the truck too. Do you see that? When he goes over some areas that are more well lit, you can see some things in the back of the truck, almost like it's a work truck or he's hauling something. Makes me curious if that gives them kind of any clues or indications
of what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem to be something back there. I can't tell what it is.
It's interesting too, because I don't know why CHP doesn't have the night sun on. Their helicopter's overhead. Yeah. Now, there are times where it just malfunctions or they rather look at it on FLIR or what have you. But no night sun on for the entirety of this, at least not since the CHP airship took over this. I think that's a new unit behind him now too that's chasing him. So
CHP?
Yeah, so we're switching because we should be in Rancho Cucamonga's area now. Even since we've been over the chase, they've swapped out more times than we have.
Absolutely.
More cars not pulling over again.
Yeah, right, yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, more people just kind of going about their day.
Not even switching lanes, let alone pulling over.
Yeah, I'm listening to the Yeah. Still, no new info on the driver that I can hear. So they have the license plate. They've called it out again as we kind of move back eastbound now. I'm sorry, westbound through the Inland Empire here on the 60 freeway. Back around through the 15 on the 60. So our next option is going to be the 71 south for freeways. Certainly he could get off at a number of exits before then, but.
And it looked like he might have been, I don't know, second thinking this and maybe trying to look for an offshoot, like when he got off the freeway there, because then he got back on kind of in the same direction, right? It wasn't like he turned around.
Yeah, no, yeah, he got back on. What's also interesting, sorry, I'm listening because two frequencies. If this guy somehow ends up back on the 91, LA County is in pursuit of a different vehicle on the 91 right now that are kind of coming towards each other. So we'll see if we have that rare passing of pursuits on the freeways, but that would require our guy to come back on the 91 where he came from. They're over coming into Orange County now on the LA side. So they're chasing something too. It's very chasey tonight.
Busy night.
Yeah. So our guy, anyway, still westbound 60. Again, nothing crazy. I mean, we've not seen these really remarkably high speeds here at all. Brian, you want to give the speedometer a shot again and see if we can get a good reading on that? I don't know why it was giving us such issues earlier, but we'll try it again. There we go.
Oh, yeah, that's under 70, for goodness sakes.
I mean, that's slower than most of us go home at night.
Yeah, well, I'm letting you say that. But you're so right about that. And again, can you tell, even from the traffic that you're listening to, Mike, if they are talking about even doing another a spike strip attempt or something like that?
No, I mean, no one has. I mean, they're calling out the location, they're calling out, where he's at and all of that. But I've not heard any new requests to do that. Now, I will say we're going to be in Rancho Cucamonga's area for a decent chunk of time. What happened is when we got into Riverside, we weren't in their area for very long. We weren't in San Bernardino's area for very long. Now that we're going to be in Rancho Cucamonga's area, in theory, for a decent chunk of time, we'll see if they want to move some things around and try to get something set up to be able to lay some spikes or do something else. I was hoping that when he got off the freeway real quick that there was going to be an opportunity for a pit, but that didn't happen.
Seems to be a little more traffic on this freeway than what we've seen.
Sorry, say that one more time, Pat?
There seems to be a little more traffic on this freeway than what we've seen earlier.
Yeah, especially when we're going to get closer to LA County, the freeways will get a little bit busier. The 60, and again, we're coming like just south of Ontario Airport right now. The next thing we'll be coming through is going to be Chino after that. And I want to answer some questions really quick. We're getting some texts from people that are just joining us, asking us, what all this is about. Again, we'll talk about the want here. They just reiterate it again. It was just DUI or suspected DUI. CHP tells us that they started this on the westbound 91 west of Imperial in Anaheim at 8:39 p.m. tonight. And that is when they tried to pull this over for what they believe to be was a DUI driver. The suspect obviously then took off. And that's where we've been. We've gone through the 91, we've gone through the 605, 405, the 71, and now the 15 and the 60. So we're cruising along here with this chase, and they've been swapping out CHP units for several offices that it's gone through.
But he's still in the same vehicle, obviously, and we're trying to second guess maybe just what his gas situation is here, because he has been driving for quite some time.
Yeah,
distance.
Right. He has been traveling for quite some distance, and that may be the thought here. Just let him run it out and see what he's going to hopefully tire himself out. I mean, we've not heard anything about him being armed or anything of that nature, so hopefully that's not the case. But everyone, each office has their own sergeant that's going to make their own kind of ideas or decisions here as this chase continues through.
And the beauty of this, as you said, Mike, CHP has different jurisdictions, and they just jump in.
Yep.
And the other ones can, what do they do? Just continue on their own, in their territory? Or?
Yeah, they'll just turn around and go back to whatever they were doing before, whatever calls are in the stack. It's kind of crazy because especially sometimes with these offices in Southern California, they're large, but there's so many areas where you can just burst through them very, very quickly. And that's kind of what happened with this guy. I mean, he got into the Riverside office and then really quickly ended up briefly in San Bernardino, I believe, and then into Rancho. So he's been kind of pushing through these very quickly, which is sometimes why, yes, it's great because these officers don't get tired. You can swap them out and what have you. But at the same time, that also means you have different people in charge of it every time it goes into a new place. And we have seen it be in one office where one watch commander sergeant, whoever's in charge, wants to be pretty aggressive. And then as soon as it leaves their area, the new guy's like, well, maybe we don't do that. Maybe we just play this out a little bit. So every time it changes offices, a new person's in charge.
So they don't really coordinate necessarily in terms of communication about what they want to do and what the prospect They just make their own decision at the time.
Make their own decision at the time. And what's going to be interesting here is, especially since we're barreling towards LA County, and I don't want to say just, but the want is just swerving and potentially DUI. We have seen it where even within the CHP, one office is chasing it and the other office that it's coming into says, no thanks, don't want it. So then they have to sit and see if the office beyond that will take it. And then you're getting, okay, sounds like the car's wanted at a Huntington Beach. So now they're trying to figure out if they can run that address and maybe see if Allied or somebody in Orange County can go check on that address and see if anybody knows this guy or this person or what their deal is. But back to your question, yeah, I mean, once they switch jurisdictions or offices within the CHP, the sergeant in charge of that office at the time is the one that's going to make the tactical decisions.
I was going to say some of those relieved officers might be heading to the other chase.
Yeah, they're going to go get in position for the one. Let me see where that one is at. Oh, that one got off on surface streets in Lakewood. So the sheriff's department's doing that one right now.
You know, the one is just speed or swerving initially, right? But I mean, if this is a DUI, this person is putting a lot of people in danger on all these freeways for such a long period of time and at high rates of speed like that.
Yeah, for an extended period of time. And DUI obviously is a very serious allegation if that's what the case may be. And yeah, I mean, to just pass through, I mean, we're on our fourth county now. We've gone through Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties now.
The good thing, though, we have not seen him do such aggressive driving as to, possibly run into another vehicle. That's a good thing. We haven't seen him necessarily go across different lanes of traffic. But, the more of this goes on, it's interesting just, again, how he's still driving at these normal amounts of speed, because sometimes we see where they get so aggravated or agitated that they do speed up and drive very fast. And so if they are inebriated in any kind of way, that would make it more dangerous. But right now, they just seem to be going on this,
last minute of freedom.
Yeah, catch me if you can, or I'll just, turn myself in when I run out of gas or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's frustrating because the officers obviously wish they would just pull over, but it's also good that it's not a situation where this person is darting and making really terrible decisions. I want to bring up a question from Text the Desk. I think Mike's going to put it in for us there. This is from Luca. Luca says, why don't they pit at any speeds like Arkansas State Troopers do? Luca asked that question because in many parts of the country, there really isn't any speed cap on what you can be pitted at. And a lot of agencies will do that at any speed. Here in Southern California, every agency is different. Generally speaking, they don't like to go above that 30 to 35 mile an hour range because it puts a lot of people at risk when they do that.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. We are going to conclude CBS LA on KCAL 9 and turn it over to our team at 10 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Pat. This is Juan Fernandez along with Susie Suh, Mike Rogers on the desk, continuing to follow this breaking news story, a pursuit of a suspected DUI driver. The original reason police wanted this driver to stop apparently was swerving in traffic. So nothing very serious at the moment when it comes to swerving in traffic, but the driver obviously did not want to stop. Mike, and you're following this. We've been on it for at least 30, 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, I want to say close to 35, 40 minutes, and it was going on for an extended period of time before that. It took us a while to catch up because the guy was going about 100 miles an hour away from us on the 91 through Orange County and then into Corona. So we finally caught up to it on the 91, but I'm sorry, in Corona. But the guy this person was originally wanted for swerving. They're now calling it suspected DUI because you have to put a crime to it, right? Swerving is not necessarily a penal code.
Swerving
but
isn't a big deal,
yeah,
right?
so they put an alleged DUI or suspected DUI driver on this, and he has gone the 91 to the northbound 405, briefly up to 605, then eastbound on the 91 through through Orange, LA counties, Riverside County, and now San Bernardino County, and now back to LA County. So we've touched kind of every corner of the market here, unless he wants to take a trip over to Ventura. But right now we are westbound on the 91 westbound 60 through the 71, approaching Chino Hills Parkway. CHP has just done, again, another swap out where they have swapped their units, and we are into LA County's area now as they are kind of pushing through the area here.
And Mike, at one point they wanted to get ahead of this chase so they can possibly stop it with some spike strips, but they weren't able to do that.
No, and they tried to get permission to do that in Orange County, and whoever was in charge said no, they didn't want to do that. So that's where we've kind of been. We've not really heard any chatter about that since. We do know that we have heard that the guy was, the vehicle's registered at an address in Huntington Beach. We also, sorry, just listening to this. We also know that the car is not reported stolen. It's nothing like that. So in theory, they know who the registered owner is. Whether the registered owner is the one behind the wheel or not is a different story here. Brian, when you get a second, if we can get a good look at the truck, I just want to show people this is a Toyota pickup truck that we have been following for quite some time now. We don't know that there's anybody else in the truck. We know that and at times when it's lit up, it's really dark down there right now. But we do see some things in the bed of the pickup truck, potentially indicating that maybe it's a work truck. CHP does have their helicopter overhead. H58 is overhead. They are not providing a night sun on it. We don't know why exactly, but they have not put a night sun over it at all. So we'll see if maybe they're just tracking it on their FLIR. They have different ways of obviously looking at it, and you've got ground units that are right behind it. So that is where we're at right now, and we're just kind of pushing through here.
Yeah, Mike, headlights are on, driver's not going too fast. Would that be maybe a reason why the night sun isn't being deployed?
Yeah, and you know, those ground units are right behind him. We've not seen any, you know, crazy erratic driving. When people are in front of him, he stops, you know, that kind of thing. Now, what we have seen is people not pulling over for CHP. I mean, there was a portion of the chase where they were like really close to the side of the CHP cars and not stopping. So obviously that's a frustration for the CHP here. So it's, you know, they're chasing it. They've swapped out offices a couple of times. We're back in LA County now. We'll see what the LA County sergeants want to do and kind of how they want to handle this.
Yeah, so they know the registered owner of this car. We don't know if this person is the one who's actually driving, but we know that the car comes back to someone who lives in Huntington Beach. So whether that person is from Huntington Beach or not, we don't know, but we certainly know that they are very far away from home. If that is the case, as Mike has been talking about, this did start in Orange County, just off the 91 freeway, but it has traveled all parts of Southern California.
Right.
Oh boy, the 5, the 405, the 605 in the Los Al area, Los Alamitos, the eastbound 91, Cerritos area into Riverside County on the 15, eastbound 60 back into Riverside County. We've just been all over the place. They've exited on surface streets just one time, we believe, throughout this entire chase. And we see that often, Juan, when they don't, you know, obviously they have many more ways to stop this car when they are on surface streets. It's, you know, slower speed than the freeway speed, so they have more opportunities to perhaps, you know, lay down some spike strips or maybe do a pit maneuver. But, you know, it gets pretty hard when they're going at freeway speeds.
You're going freeway speeds, Susie, not a lot of traffic in front of this pickup truck there. So again, he's got a free, clear view ahead of him. Is looking at SkyCal's opening up, giving us a better view of what's ahead. Not a lot of traffic. And my guess is by now, Mike, maybe not. Do officers know more than what we know regarding this driver? Why wouldn't they let him go at this point?
Yeah, for sure. And that's the good point here is that we don't know everything that they know. And I actually want to bring up a question from Text the Desk that somebody just sent us to. And it's from, I believe Matt sent us this. If it's not stolen and they know the registered owner and address, why risk public safety and just get him at home? That is the question that CHP, I'm sure, is debating right now. There are sergeants, there are lieutenants who are asking that same question. And it really all depends on what they know about the person. This person is wanted for DUI. That is the official kind of want here. But is there something else that is making this person run? Because even if you don't hit anything, a DUI can still be a misdemeanor, right? But now running from the police is felony evading at minimum. So what else is going on with this person? We don't know. CHP may know, and that may be why, as to answer the question here, why they are not waiting and going to get him at home, and why they are instead continuing to chase him. So obviously, if we hear or learn any additional information about why that is the case, we'll absolutely pass that along to you. Right now, though, we've not heard that. We just know that this was reported to be a DUI vehicle. And in fact, as I mentioned, started out to be swerving and then was changed to DUI. As we continue here, now we're southbound on the 57. So now we're going to come back into Orange County, where we all started this whole mess to begin with, probably close to an hour ago now.
And you know, we're all armchair detectives here, right? We all say, what could they do? What couldn't they do? Regarding letting this chase go, right, Susie, you say you send units to the registered address of this car, and you just have a patrol unit kind of hang out in the neighborhood and arrest the person, because if they're not there, the person could say that wasn't me behind the wheel. I mean, there's so many different angles that you can attack this story here. And again, look at this wide shot, Susie. Wide open traffic right ahead of this truck here. Officers behind, and really no end in sight right now.
Yeah, but they are certainly talking about it. As we've been talking about, you know, the CHPs, talking about all kinds of things behind this chase right now that we don't know about, but they certainly want to bring this to an end. Mike, earlier we were talking about the grappler and how Riverside County Sheriffs, they do have that. Explain what that is. And the CHP does not work with these.
CHP does not work with these, and I can tell you, I'm going through our text the desk comments right now, and there are a lot of people that are asking about that. It's very popular in other parts of the country. Here, we just don't use it that frequently. I don't know if it's the size of our agencies or maybe the denser streets that people don't want to take the risk on. But the Riverside County Sheriff's Department does have their canine units equipped with the grappler. Essentially, what the grappler is it mounts to the front of the patrol car. The patrol car is able to get close enough behind the suspect vehicle, and then it shoots out ropes, essentially, if you will. There's a better term for it that's escaping me, but it shoots something out. They basically can catch it and wraps the rope around the tire, and then that brings the car to an end. It has been very successful, according to the Sheriff's Department, in Riverside County, and they used it frequently. They use it on chases, and they've used it at pretty high speeds. They told us, I think our Joy Benedict went out there, and they've used it at speeds over 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
So they have used this before in the real world, and it works for them out there. Why other agencies haven't gotten on board? I have asked that question a million times to our local agencies. The best answer I get from people is we're always looking to expand our options, but this isn't one of them right now. So
could be cost, Mike.
It could be cost. Well, and you know, Riverside, what cars do you put it on, right? That's the other issue. Is Riverside made a decision to put it on their canine vehicles, which makes sense. You have one generally that is working, probably at least one on each shift, maybe a couple that can respond. They're county-wide, so they're not stuck to a geographical area. Other agencies like the CHP or the LAPD or whatever, it may be difficult to decide whose car do we put this on?
Sure.
How do we make sure we're getting the best use out of it?
And then we got to call them in whenever we need it.
Right. And logistically, it may just not be kind of the best use of money for them. Now, I also quickly want to, because a lot of people are texting me about me calling it Rancho Cucamonga, I want to let everyone know, when I was referring to Rancho Cucamonga, it's the Rancho Cucamonga office of the CHP. So yes, I know it was on the 60 freeway in Ontario, but it was the Rancho Cucamonga office of the CHP
they handle that
that
area,
was
right?
chasing it. Yes, we've got our friends watching on a lot of Twitch streams right now, so that's where I'm getting blown up from. So anyway, Rancho Cucamonga office of the CHP. We are in LA County now. We're going to actually just now crossing into Orange County on the southbound side of the 57 coming into Brea.
And traffic on the other side of the freeway is just as light too, Suze.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, we've been going pretty fast here. As we mentioned, this all started with the original want of a swerving person, someone who was swerving around the freeway, and then the want turned into suspected DUI driver. But we really haven't seen that erratic driving that you may maybe imagine when we're talking about a DUI driver, or what you might just imagine the behavior of a DUI driver. We've just been watching this person drive fast at times, certainly, but you know, not swerving like we were hearing about earlier, not changing lanes, really just going straight down the freeways, all the freeways that they have been down tonight. But it's been mostly, I mean, you know, regular driving.
Indeed, with 2 units behind the driver here right now. Mike, there are air units, as you mentioned. They're just not using the night sun that we're oftentimes seeing at night when a pursuit is taking place.
Yeah, we do have the CHP helicopter overhead. They're, you know, came out of Fullerton. Yeah, they don't have the night sun on. They haven't the entire time we've been over it. You know, some agencies do that as a measure to say, hey, we're not chasing you, we promise, but they're really right behind them. But obviously CHP is not in tracking mode. They've got units that are very close on the ground. So CHP may just be able to see it out the window. They may be using FLIR. There's a number of reasons. It may be broken. That's happened before too. There are a number of reasons why it may not be on, but you're not in a scenario where the ground units are gonna lose sight of them, because we really haven't gone anywhere but straight on the freeway. I mean, we've got some text to desk too that are asking, why didn't we do pit maneuvers? I thought there was an opportunity for them to do that when they got off the the freeway. Again, every circumstance has to be just right. The officer has to feel comfortable with it. It's easier for us to say, oh, that would have been a good spot, but we don't know the scenarios and what's going on the ground. We don't know what they know about this guy. So yes, to answer the question, they are allowed to do pit maneuvers. They have to get permission for it, and the conditions have to be right. And at 70 miles an hour on the freeway, they're never going to do a pit there. I was thinking maybe we'll see some spikes. Somebody try to get up ahead because the freeway's been pretty empty. Brian, if you can pull out just a little bit, I just want to see what the traffic. Oh, there's still some cars ahead of them, but it's not certainly a busy, terribly packed freeway here at 10 o'clock on a what is this, Tuesday night. But look at the trail of cop cars that are behind him there. That are trailing him. So we're probably starting to see a switch out as well. We're back into Orange County now, so they're probably switching out their Riverside units, or I'm sorry, their LA County units for Orange County units now that we're back in Orange County.
You know, Mike, they're heading back into Orange County. You said kind of this is back to where this all started.
Yeah.
Any chance whether they know maybe the driver is heading back to those familiar areas, maybe back home?
Not far from Huntington Beach.
Right, yeah. Huntington Beach is where the registered owner lives. So I know that they were trying to do some work on that. I mean, yeah, the 57 is certainly on the way to that. Obviously, they'd have to take a couple of different freeways, but, you know, we're coming back into Orange County. So I don't know if the guy's thought or the person's thought was, you know, let's see if they can get out of the area. Maybe they'll leave me alone, and that's not the case. And they're chasing him. I thought, and you know, not to be, you know, judgmental of Los Angeles County, but I thought for a second that they may not get involved when it came into LA County, but they did. They picked it up, and now we're back into Orange County.
You know, Mike, I know we're talking about different ways that this car can be stopped by the CHP. We talked about pit maneuvers and spike strips.
Yeah.
You know, pit maneuvers with a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Higher center of gravity.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to make them want the speeds to probably be even lower. You know, again, generally speaking, this is about 30 to 35 miles an hour is what people are looking for these pit maneuvers to be done successfully and safely. So when you have a vehicle that's got a higher center of gravity or there's some other issue with it, they probably would want that to be even a little bit lower just to make them feel comfortable. And, you know, we're seeing this, and speeds are fluctuating a little bit. I mean, we're back in the 70s about freeway speeds, but there was that period of time when we were in Orange County to begin with that this guy was up over 100 miles an hour. That's honestly what took SkyCal so long to get there, as we were trying to catch this guy on the eastbound 91 as he was going away from us. But look, I mean, CHP has kept the distance they're keeping. They're keeping some, you know, pretty wide room here from this guy, and he's not, you know, driving like too crazy at all. You see another CHP unit come in here. They're probably switching out as well, and that's been the thing with the CHP. You can, a statewide agency, they can constantly swap units from different offices, and these these officers don't get too, you know, tired from being in there.
And they've done it multiple times, right, tonight already.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
Aren't they a little more aggressive in Orange County? Haven't we talked about that in the past?
For sure. They are definitely more aggressive in Orange County and in the IE. CHP, though, I mean, you know, they're maybe a little bit more aggressive, but they've got the same policies statewide, right? I mean, officially in the books, they have the same policies. Whereas in San Bernardino, like Sheriff or Riverside Sheriff or Orange County Sheriff, their policies may differ, and they may be a little bit more willing to take some risks that other agencies or the CHP doesn't want to take. And again, it's all about risk versus reward here. What is they being chased for? And guys, I want to let you know too, we are rapidly approaching the Disneyland TFR. And it's temporary, but it's permanent. It's always been there. So we'll see if he continues to go southbound. SkyCal, Brian, work with your pilot. Maybe we can go over the top of it. If not, we'll have to skirt off to the side. So the picture may get a little bit tough here. Brian's going to work on that with his pilot tonight and figure out what that is. But I believe we are now through the, So we're on southbound on the 57, and we are through the 91. So the airship is going to be entering the flight restricted area for us here in just a second. So we'll keep an eye on it and keep our picture as tight as we can as we work on navigating the flight restricted area. Let me send it back to you guys really quickly. I'm going to talk to Brian.
Okay, thank you so much. And you know, that's several areas around town, right? The airport, Disneyland, all have these areas where we're not allowed to fly over for whatever reason. Sometimes if you have the president in town, certain parts of town become also temporary flight restricted areas. So that's what Mike was just talking about now. We're approaching Disneyland. So our chopper has to then maneuver around the area to get through the flight restricted area around the resort.
That's right. And as we head up to Anaheim, this is again exactly where the pursuit started tonight on the 91 freeway westbound in the city of Anaheim or in Orange County. And we're going back to that place again. And we're wondering if this person is going to maybe try going home to Huntington Beach if in fact that is where they live. We do know that this registered car, or this car is registered to a person out of Huntington Beach, so it's curious if they might be perhaps going home. If they exited right now and headed south on any of those streets that run parallel to Beach Boulevard, that's where it would take them. So, you know, but they've been all over the place, Juan. They've been to Riverside County, they've been to San Bernardino County even for a hot minute, and you know, it's been just really, you know, sometimes we have knowledge of this person. Maybe they're going to go back home and go into their neighborhood and drive around there for a minute and try to evade police, but be in an area where they're more comfortable, more familiar with. But we haven't seen that behavior tonight, just on the freeway.
And we don't know, there's no certainty that this person is actually drunk or driving under the influence. But the fact that he was swerving was enough for officers wanting to pull him over. The fact that he didn't pull him over, then you start thinking, well, what's going on here? What's going on through the mind of this driver? If it was just a simple swerve, a lot of people have swerved for one reason or another, maybe not paying attention to traffic, but not desperate enough to try to evade police and try to get away.
Yeah, I just want to remind our audience here that we're keeping this shot really wide on SkyCal because we are entering into the Disneyland TFR or flight restriction for our choppers. So we can't be over that area too closely here. So we're going to be taking this shot wide. As you can see in the middle of your screen there, you can see the CHP cars still chasing this person. Let's go back to Mike Rogers on the desk for this update, Mike.
Yeah, you know, I'm just watching, and we're going right over Angel Stadium right now, is where he is. Yeah, you see it right in the background. So that's where we are. That's a good landmark for people as we continue southbound here. And if he continues south, we'll pop out of the TFR. Hopefully that'll be the case. Brian and our pilot doing a great job. Just so you know, we're looking at this at like quite the distance. You see where the baseball stadium is there. We are east of the 55 in Orange County. So they're doing a great job of keeping an eye on this. And thanks, Brian, for pulling out and really showing us just how far away we have to stay to do this. This is the flight restricted area, as you guys have been mentioning, for Disneyland. So the guy's still on southbound 57 rather, and we'll be approaching the 5 and the 22 kind of interchange there here. So he's going to have a couple of options. If he's going to Huntington Beach, I mean, I guess you could go either way. You could go back east, westbound there on the, what is that, the 22? Yeah, or come down and pick up the 55 from the 5. If that's how he wants to get there. And we'll see if that's where he's actually going, but you know, that's where they believe that the registered owner is. That's where the address they've kind of been working up a little bit, if you will. So we'll see what kind of movements they're able to get there. And then hopefully as soon as we pop out of if he goes down south on the 5, we'll be able to pick him up a little bit quicker than he would if we go on the westbound side. So we'll see.
Mike, has CHP been the agency that has been chasing him the entire time, or has it gone on and off based on whether he's been on the freeway or surface streets?
Nope, CHP the entire time. They actually initiated this in Orange County and picked it up and have been going back and forth with it. Trying to see what he's doing here. Have been going back and forth with it all the way through the Inland Empire. So it's been them the entire time, and they've stuck with it, passed it off through a couple of different offices. And we are, of course, because why would life be easy, transitioning westbound on the 22. So we're going to be stuck in the TFR
as we expected
for a while. So SkyCal is going to come to the south now of the TFR, and we'll try to keep an eye on them. But that's a good opportunity to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cop cars. And you'll notice that back cop car, the last one, is doing the traffic break to try to keep traffic from catching up to him.
And we're almost approaching 2 hours on this chase, Mike.
Yes. Let me see.
I believe it was 8:30 when this car was first pulled over on the westbound freeway, on the westbound 91 freeway.
Yeah, I believe you're right. It was
8:39.
Wow. Yeah, 8:39 p.m. is what time the pursuit was initiated, and that was on the westbound 91 west of Imperial in Anaheim. So again, we're kind of close to where we started all of this here down in Orange County. So we're westbound now on the 22. We'll see if he just decides to get off and head home to Huntington Beach or what his plan is here, but we're at least kind of back where we started this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to exit there because he's all the way on the right there. He's on a transition right now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. The 22 bends right there a little bit on us. And then, of course, you've got some of those tall buildings. So I think he's committed to the freeway. The next option, freeway-wise, would be the 405, and that's in several miles. So he can get off on some surface streets here, and right now we're almost into Garden Grove, and then he can go south if he's trying to go home, or he just stays here westbound, and then we'll pick him up as soon as he exits the TFR.
I thought for a second that one unit was going to start doing a traffic break there on the freeway, but apparently it stopped doing that. It started swerving left and right, but that wasn't the case there. It wouldn't really help them much holding traffic back, would it, Mike?
No, I mean, we're going at freeway speeds right now, roughly. It's more helpful to them when the person is going slower than the freeway, because then you really can have cars start passing him. But when we're going about freeway speeds, generally the motoring public will know, hey, this is probably not a good idea for me to get right up on, I'll slow down a little bit. So it's not totally necessary for CHP to do it. Though we have in this chase already seen them do traffic breaks behind this person, so just so they could, try to keep control of the area. And I had thought for a period of time it was so that they were going to be able to try to do a spike, because we had heard some of that. All of a sudden, slowing down, it looks like, pretty significantly. We're still in the flight restricted area, so we're not going to be able to see much, but we are just at Harbor Boulevard here, as the speeds have significantly reduced. Now, when we first started this chase, he was also going very, very slow, and it looks like
It is slowing down.
if that's the exit. I think he is on, on the harbor exit here. So maybe he wants to come south and see SkyCal. That would be nice. But getting off the freeway, only the second time since we've been in this chase that he has gotten off the freeway.
Yeah, so if he takes Harbor South, it's going to take him right to Huntington Beach. If he
Right.
does choose to do that, any of those streets, as I mentioned before, parallel to Harbor, will take you
Northbound.
straight to Huntington Beach to the ocean. But it looks like they're going northbound there, going the opposite direction, and CHP right behind this person, not going very fast, as Mike was just talking about. This is, this is one of the first opportunities we've seen,
Into a
again, on
parking lot.
surface streets, that we've seen them, possibly have an opportunity for maybe a pit maneuver. Again, with spike strips, you have to kind of know where that person is going. You have to see a pattern for them to set that up, those spike strips, and be in place and then hide, and then wait for that person to pass by those spike strips. And that's often hard to do.
Is he parking, Mike?
He
It
is.
looks like he's kind of, it was like a circle he did in the parking lot, and this just right went into a spot, right?
Yeah, and I can't tell what restaurant that is.
It's a
but-
Jack in the Box, Mike?
No,
or-
the Jack in the Box
Yeah.
is on the bottom of our screen. I can't tell what that is on the top. We're losing him behind the tree, so we'll see if SkyCal can maneuver around a little bit more so that we can see him here. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know.
Whatever
Maybe he
this one
finally
is.
figured it out, and that this is not going to end the way he wants it to. Maybe he's out of gas. I mean,
Yeah.
this has been going on for quite some time. But either way, we are stopped here just north of the 22 freeway off the harbor at this little complex. There's a Jack in the Box, a Denny's. I can't tell what that business is that he
Me
pulled
either.
into, but
The sign is kind of blown out. Mike,
Yeah.
can we get closer, or are we still in the TFR?
Yeah,
this
they're
is
still,
as close as we can get.
This is as close as we can get. They're still in the TFR. He is out of the car now, it looks like, and we're looking the best we can here, but we're trying to see him get out of the car here, and hopefully this is it, and hopefully they just take him into custody, and we'll call it a day here and be done with all of this after this incredibly long pursuit, almost 2 hours now. And I do see him out. Okay, that's great news. We briefly were able to see him out of the car. His hands are up. Looks like he's kneeling down now, right behind that Jack in the Box sign. So at least he is out. He is no longer a danger to the public. What will end up being his deal? Why was he running so hard? Is he DUI? What else is going on with this guy? But at least now he's out of the car and appears to be being taken into custody.
Yeah, no kidding. And nobody injured, nobody hurt. My guess is maybe he did run out of gas, Suze.
It's true, and incredibly, he went to so many different places tonight. I mean, we're talking about 3-4 different counties, but we're going to keep an eye on this and keep SkyCal overhead and bring you the very latest just as soon as we get another update. And now to our other big story tonight: a ceasefire in the war with Iran.